guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Evergreen Organics. I'm hanging out with my buddy Forrest again today. We're down in his shop and we're going to have a little fun with chainsaws. We have some brand new Stihl HEXA chains and we're going to put them on a 500i and a ported 661, and we're going to tear through some wood today and see how they do. We also have some square ground and some round ground chains, and I've got a magnifying glass here with a light, and I'm going to show to the best of my ability the difference between those three chains. One of the last videos that I did was on the ripsaw ported Stihl 661 Magnum, which is this saw right here, and I made the mistake of not playing any real-time footage at the end of that video once we got everything hooked up here and got the MaxFlow kit on and the bark box. So today we're going to get some real live at real speed footage, and I'm going to have the sound on so you guys can see how deafeningly loud these bark boxes actually are. Now this 500i that I have here also has a bark box on it, so they're both terribly loud. They've got all the bells and whistles hooked up on them. This is my buddy's 500i. He does not have a MaxFlow kit on it yet because the MaxFlow kit for a 500i, apparently you have to cut and modify this top cover, your cylinder cover on your saw, and he doesn't want to do that because this thing is like brand spanking new, so I kind of don't blame him. And this saw runs really great as is. It is a stock saw. It has not been ported yet, and I keep bugging him and trying to convince him to let me port it for him, but he's still a little weary about that. I mean, I am not God's gift to porting chainsaws by any means. It should be a good video. We're going to get the saws and some wood, we're going to talk about chains, and have a good time, so stick around. Okay, so we got a 20-inch bar for the 500i. We're going to put a HEXA chain on this one, and then we've got a 25-inch bar for the 661. We're going to put a HEXA chain on that one, and then we're going to go cut some stuff.
What do you want to?
Cut some cookies, and we can talk about the different kinds of chains. I'm going to bring you guys in a little closer here, and then we can look at the different kinds of chains. Alright guys, so I'm going to try to get this in zoom. This is a square ground chain, so you can see this cutter tooth comes to like a 90-degree angle in the tooth. These undoubtedly cut the fastest of any chain. But the downside to these is they dull faster. If you're cutting into dirty wood, they do not hold their edge nearly as long as a round ground chain. And you can hand file them, but it is not something for the new sawyer to be trying out. It's really difficult to hand file these. I've never even tried to hand file them before. The chains that I use pretty much are round ground chains for my saws, which are a little bit more durable. So here is the tooth of a round ground chain. As you can see, it's rounded over in there. This is much easier to hand sharpen and holds a much more robust edge for cutting into dirtier stuff than a square ground. It does not cut quite as fast as a square ground. And then finally, this is the HEXA chain. We're going to use this HEXA chain for the first time, and it is hard to see the difference here. So the chain that's on the left, that cutter tooth on the left, is a square ground. The one that's on the right is a HEXA ground. So they're kind of a similar idea, except for, I guess, this HEXA grind is much easier for hand sharpening. Now I'm going to show you guys what that HEXA file looks like. Okay, so this is your triangular file for square ground. Very difficult to use. I have not attempted this yet. This is my buddy Forrest's file. Here's your classic, right, round ground. And then this is the new HEXA file. And I'm interested to see how this thing works out. If you notice, on 2 of the 6 sides, there's not actually any filing teeth. So we'll see how this bad boy actually works out. Very cool. This is supposed to be much easier to sharpen. And depending on how well this thing cuts, I might be switching to HEXA chains for my saw. We'll give it a shot. Alright, one last thing worth mentioning is on this HEXA chain. I don't know how easy it is for you guys to see it, but the raker or depth gauge is really far offset. And I'm not exactly sure why that is. If any of you guys know, please leave a comment. You know what? I'm gonna come in a little closer. Alright, so there's the live speed real time of the 661 Magnum. That's with a 25-inch bar on it. And the HEXA chain. That thing rips. Here, I want to show you guys the chips though. See these chips? They're like tiny, which is weird. This is a brand spanking new chain. You know, it's never been stuck in the ground or anything. I did not expect these chips to be really small like this. Now this is white oak that we're cutting through, so I don't know if that makes a difference that it's, you know, one of the hardest natural wood species that we have around here. Alright, so that was just so exciting that let's see how close we can get here. Is that close enough for it? Okay, so we are gonna go and cut down an ash tree just cause it's standing dead and we'll use the wood for something.